Hi there, and a warm welcome to Frugalfull. This is a budgeting and frugal lifestyle channel, and my name is Lara, and it's great to have you here. So today's video is all about frugal hobbies, and thank you so much, Trandans, for your comment that you left in a previous video. I'd asked about what kind of videos people would enjoy seeing, and you'd suggested a video about what hobbies I enjoy, so I really appreciated that idea. So today's video is about my hobbies, but they also happen to be frugal hobbies because being a frugal person seems to underpin how I live my life. It is like a cornerstone of my lifestyle anyway, and my kind of ethos and how I express myself and how I go about my day-to-day life, but also the things that I find fun and enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I do buy things, I do spend money like we all do. I do like to treat myself, and sometimes things that I enjoy doing do cost money. Sometimes they cost quite a lot, and I save up and I make it a financial goal and I budget accordingly. Or I declutter and sell things to raise money to do things if they cost a wee bit. But when I do them, I'm very conscious about how to do it in a budget friendly way. So for example, if I go on holiday and that sort of thing, I'm not being mindless or frivolous about it. I'm intentional. So it is a splurge, but it's a splurge that's done in a conscious way. And it makes that budget stretch a wee bit further to do more things that are exciting and fun and what holidays are all about. Anyway, back to the topic of hobbies. So I'm going to take you next door and show you a few examples of things that I love to make. Because yes, one of my favourite things hobby-wise is creating things, making things with my hands. So we've got a Bella who has just had breakfast, and now she's dropping hints that she wants more because she's a little gannet and you're not having more, cheeky face. So yeah, I love to make things with my hands. I love to craft things, and it really varies. It depends on what phase I'm going through. I like to experiment with different kinds of materials for making things. So it could be fabrics, it could be clay, it could be mixed media. I love the idea of assemblage, so it's putting together different mixed media bits to sculpt something or build a structure out of that. I like using mud rock or paper mache to make 3D structures. Yeah, all kinds of things, using fabrics and combining them with different things, and I guess, and then mosaic as well. But I guess all of this leads on to the main topic about hobbies for today, which is upcycling and repurposing. So again, a thread that seems to run through this frugal creative hobby for me is the love of taking scraps of things that would otherwise be discarded and thrown away, or broken bits of, say, pottery, or just wee remnants from bits of materials, or things like bits of wood, bits of cork, all kinds of things, beads and buttons that are just random, and turning them into something new. So either just upcycling it in and of itself, so upcycling, taking some things and turning them into something new, or taking something existing and sort of revamping it and giving it a bit of a new lease of life. So sometimes I like to do that with my hats. I've mixed vintage and modern before, just to give the hat a wee bit of a twist. So I'll show you a few examples of different things. Adding some wee bits of embroidery to clothes, that kind of thing. So it might be something that I wasn't as keen on, and then I just kind of give it my own wee kind of touch, twist, and just enjoy that item more. Or it could be repurposing, so it's taking things and upcycling them, but making it into an item that has a new purpose in itself. I don't do that as much with my crafty habits and hobbies. I like to just enjoy the process of making something, and sometimes I don't even know what it's going to become, and it just kind of grows arms and legs and becomes whatever it becomes. And sometimes I start a project and I don't finish it for quite a long time. I'll just do wee drips and drabs and just do it over a few years or a few months or weeks. I like it to be quite free-flowing and relaxed and no pressure around it, because it's for fun. There's no shoulds or oughts or that it's got to be done for any goal or purpose in mind, apart from relaxing and enjoying expressing myself in that way. But with with repurposing, what I love about that is it could take something that was going to be thrown in the tip, an old piece of furniture, have a new lease of life breathed into it, and then it could even be turned into a different type of furniture or different kind of household item that has more utility and value. And a brilliant example of this is the program Money, I think it's called Money for Nothing. It's either that or Something for Nothing, but I think it's called Money for Nothing. Her name's Sarah on this program. I don't know how available this is out with the UK, or even if it's still available on playback and things in the UK, but it was a great program. I'm not sure if it's even still running, but Sarah that's on that program, she speaks to people before they're about to throw furniture and things away at the tip, asks if she can take the item. She works alongside really skilled craftspeople, and they'll turn the item into something new, or they'll revamp it. Then they'll sell it to somewhere like some boutique-y, kind of hipsterish kind of place, make a good profit, come back to the person who was going to throw the item away with the money, and usually that money they'll give it to a charity. So it's a real feel-good program. I definitely recommend it. But anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at these upcycled crafts, the kind of things I love to make, some of my projects. So here's a mixed media sculpture that I made, upcycled. It's got pieces of scrap wood, pieces of cork that would have been thrown out otherwise from bottles from the pub, some little miniature Japanese tea set items, and some pottery bits like that rose, and it's actually got some damaged bits on it, so it wouldn't have been suitable for other things, but I really love it on this. I think it's a nice finishing touch. This I call a puzzle ball, and it's made of old beads and buttons and things, and I used some scrap gardening wire to put it together. I kind of use it as a stress ball, or if I'm sort of puzzling something out, I call it the puzzle ball. I can kind of hold it in my hands. I can either use it to relax and ground me and tune into the sensations I feel holding it and the weight of it, or it helps me while I'm puzzling something out, as I say. So it doesn't really have a specific purpose, apart from I do like it for that. But it was really just one day I just felt the urge to make it, and I don't know why. Here are some sculptures I made. So the top two are made from clay, and the bottom one is a plaster of Paris block that I then carved the shapes out of. Again, I don't know why it's these shapes. There's no kind of rhyme or reason. Sometimes I just like to use these kind of materials just to express emotions out of me, and just, as I say, go with the flow and see how it feels, but just as a kind of relaxing, meditative practice in a way. Because when you get into that kind of relaxing flow state, it is very therapeutic, and I love that. And this one is my absolute favourite. Right, here we go. Oh. This is my big shell sculpture that I made. It took me, months. I think it was about 10 months. It was a big project. So it's a wooden armature. It's got paper mat. It's got cork to do the 3D structure as well as the wood. And then I paper mache'd it, and then it had a layer of grout. I had scraps of grout in pots that I used, and then bits of broken pottery, as I say, for the mosaic. So I'm just trying to be really careful not to hurt myself, but That'll give you an idea of what it looks like. But this is my favourite thing that I've made. It was a real labour of love, and I didn't really have a plan. It just kind of came together. It just kind of happened. That's it from the front. Oh gosh, it's heavy. And then here is an example of a couple of hats that I upcycled. So they were vintage originally, and then I added bits on. And then here's another example. I don't really wear them, so I may end up putting them online for sale at some point. And then here is a big cardie that I got from the charity shop, and I just wanted to sort of jazz it up a wee bit. So I'm gradually adding bits of embroidery on. I'll probably have some kind of vine that runs down and more flowers coming off it. But it's a very slow process. Whenever I feel drawn towards that activity, I'll come back and do a bit more. And then that was me practicing a technique called speed weaving. I'll show you my speed weaving tool. It's a really great thing. It's a bit like a darning mushroom. It can be used for repairs, but you can also do quite intricate designs. And I love the idea of it with ripped jeans and things for doing like patches and things like that. I think there's a lot of scope to do wee creative embellishments on clothes with that kind of thing. So that's another example of a kind of pottering kind of activity I do sometimes. So there you go, that's an example of a few arts and crafts type upcycled things that I love to make. It's a great hobby because I find it really relaxing, as I say. It's a feel-good activity and it's free or it's very cheap, one or the other. Because I tend to use recycled materials, it doesn't cost me very much at all. So it's definitely a win-win. It's a great frugal activity. So other kinds of things I love to do, hobby-wise, involve music or writing. Again, they're free or very inexpensive and creative. And the allotment, of course, is a big pastime that I love and get a lot of value from. And again, it's very low cost. I have a sinking fund for it because expenses do crop up from time to time, like buying seeds, buying fleece, things like that. So or that kind of netting for cloche, for sort of cloche lids and protecting things as they grow from the beasties. But if you ever buy netting, please be careful, because the ones with the bigger gaps, they're really dangerous for the wild birds. They can get their feet caught in them. So, you know, the kind of really, really fine mesh, I definitely recommend that. It keeps the bugs out. It still lets the rain through, but it protects those birdies as well. And it doesn't cost that much. You can get big sheets of it, big rolls of it on eBay. So I really recommend there. It's a good place and it helps protect your wildlife in your garden or allotment if you do that kind of thing. So yeah, it doesn't have to cost much either as a hobby activity. So a couple more things to show you are to do with making and crafting things, but they also connect with the allotment as well, because things to do with nature and plants and animals, yeah, they're definitely a big inspiration for creative stuff. So the first example is a character that I made during the lockdown. So I'm going to show you a picture of her just here. Her name is Nicola Nasturtian and it was good fun to make her. She's actually made from bits of fabric from an old vintage dressing gown that I had. So that was too small, and her hair, she's got this kind of wavy hair that comes down. So there was like a kind of, not fringe, like a kind of frilly trim on the inside of the dressing gown. So it was perfect for her hair. And then finally, you've seen this guy before if you've seen my video about eco-frugality, which was mid-May. I'll show you what it looks like just here. So finally I'll take you back to the allotment to see the guy who used to live there. His name was Emil and he was a scarecrow that I made. He brought me lots of fun and entertainment. His bendy legs always made me laugh, and his big nose, and what a character he was. He was made from old clothes and stuff that couldn't be donated. They were just too far gone to be able to be donated, as I say. And rather than just throw them out, I thought it would be nice to turn it into something that was a bit of fun. Eventually he got all kind of mouldy and gangrenous and had to go to the scarecrow heaven in the skip. But I think he was with me for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. So worth every minute of making him. I think I'm trying to remember. I think I was a bit poorly when I made him, and I'm not always a good patient when I'm not feeling well. It's hard to keep still. But yeah, I seem to remember I don't know what it was, but I think I was poorly on antibiotics for something, and so I made him at home. And then that was an interesting experience, transporting him to the allotment. Anyway, so yes, I will leave you with him and I will say goodbye. And I wanted to also thank you very much for watching today. I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing this video today and how it links to frugality, which, as you know by now, I really, really strongly advocate as a way of life. All the value that brings, how it can help us with our budget, how it can help us keep on the straight and narrow and find ways to live well with less. So I'm sending you very best wishes. I hope you're having a fantastic week and take care. See you in the next video. Bye.